Thank you all for coming. We are doing a little video of this because Tamara's going to be our guest speaker tonight. She's going to do a couple of minutes talking about policy questions dealing with the LA Unified School District, and then she will graciously take your questions, make them as tough as possible, because we're doing this on tape, and then in the next couple of days we're going to put it on our website, on the Kiwanis Club website, so we can show everybody we're paying attention to issues important to all of us. I called Tamara's staff, said, tell me something about Tamara that we don't know, and she's very private. I couldn't get anything from the staff, so I looked up, me being a great educator as I am, Tamar. Tamar means palm tree. Palm tree, if you think of it, strong, erect, doesn't fall down, doesn't stumble. But the other thing, Tamara, I found out about your namesake, the palm tree, is that you can also take the sap out of it and ferment it and make a fantastic drink that cannot be prosecuted by the city attorney's office, of which she is a deputy city attorney. Tamara I met about 4 or 5 years ago, actually at the car wash. She was brought over by Wendy Gruhl and Mayor Antonio, and she won that race. She's been a very strong advocate for reform of the education business in our city, and she works extremely hard. She's the only person I know personally. She's got 4 jobs. She's got a job as deputy city attorney, which pays a full salary. She has another full-time job as as a school board member. She has another job as a mother with her 2 little boys, and her final, but must not say least important, she's also the wife of her husband, Brendan. Big hand for our special guest, Tamara Galatzan.
Thank you, Jack. Okay, hopefully the koi won't drink Diet Coke, so we'll see. Hi, everybody. The funniest thing about my name, and Denise Campos, as some of you know from my office who's here, would laugh, is that I'm known at LA Unified as the person who has forbidden palm trees from any of our campuses, because I think they're the most useless trees in the world. They offer no shade, and when those palm fronds come down, they like cut people, and there's rats that live. It's just really horrible. So I'm known as the person that hates palm trees at LA Unified, and no more schools have palm trees because of me and my hatred of them. I'm on the way here. I'm trying to think of something inspiring and to say about LA Unified, because it's a really tough time right now. So I went home for a few minutes. I saw my kids, and I said I'm off to a meeting, and I laughed because a few weeks ago I was at my younger son's classroom. He goes to Riverside Elementary School, and I was doing career day, and I was there with my city attorney hat on, and my son's teacher said to my son, "What do you want to tell your class about your other job?" And my son said, "My mommy's on the school board. She goes to lots of meetings where people yell at her." So I thought that summed up my job pretty well. So as I was leaving tonight, he said, "Are they going to yell at you?" And I said, "Oh no, this is a much nicer crowd. They're not going to yell at me. They're just going to ask really tough, embarrassing questions." So I've been on the school board now for almost 4 years, and it has been a really tough 4 years, but in a lot of respects, incredibly important 4 years for the district. As a lot of you know, we're facing a horrendous budget deficit, as is really every governmental agency. LAUSD has had its budget cut by the state of California, $1.5 billion over the last 2 years. So we have made $1.5 billion of budget cuts. Some of that was low-hanging fruit, stuff that should have gone years ago, programs, people outlived their usefulness, duplicative, just all sorts of things. There was probably about, a billion with a B dollars of cuts that I'm not saying were harmless, but could have been made and were made, and everyone survived. We are looking at, for next year, what could potentially be another $408 million of budget cuts. there is no more low-hanging fruit. We're really at the meat of what the school district does. We are looking at things that no one wants to look at, like eliminating full-day kindergarten, increasing class size, cutting back on athletics and music and art programs, really just all of the stuff that really makes education come alive and really work for students is really on the chopping block. So it's a very kind of depressing place to be right now. We are waiting to see what happens if the governor gets his tax extensions on the June ballot and they pass. That would help LAU to stay out to a tune of about $225 million. And that would go a long way in restoring class size and bringing back school nurses and some of the other things that we really shouldn't do without. You know, the only silver lining really of the budget crisis has been, you know, LAUSD is in the tail end of one of the largest building projects in the country. And one of the things that has happened recently is a lot of the new schools that we're constructing are coming in under budget because of the bad economy. So that money is being returned. The money under the language of the bond can only be used for other facilities construction. So we can't use it to hire teachers or anything like that. So each board office really got money and then said, you know, tell us what your priority projects are. So in 5 of the 7 board districts, the board members had like one big project that they really wanted to do. So for example, Dorsey High School is getting a new gym. In my board district, which covers about half of the San Fernando Valley, we didn't have that one big project. But what we do have is years and years and years of deferred maintenance because the district has spent so much time and money building new schools and have totally ignored the needs of the existing campuses. And I represent a whole bunch of those schools, not very many of the new schools. So we've been trying to spread that money around, and we visited along with facilities every single one of the over 100 schools in my board district. And we basically came up with a wish list from each school, and we prioritized them, and we are now in round 2 of funding about $25 million worth of projects here in the Valley. So we're really happy about that. A lot of local schools have gotten projects, and it's stuff that the district should have been paying for, so that's a little frustrating, but at least we've found a way to fix some of those projects. The kind of last piece that I'll touch on and then throw it open for questions has to do with, you know, despite this budget crisis, the reason why I was elected, the reason why I ran is because LAUSD needed to go in a different direction. You know, dropout rates unacceptable, test scores inching up, but that's really about it. A total disregard for a lot of, you know, middle-class families who go to school in this district. So kind of pushing forward with reforms was something that was certainly important to me and several of my colleagues. You know, for the first time ever, we have tackled this issue of seniority, where it's, you know, last hired, first fired, and we have absolutely no control over it. This year, for the first time, there are about 40 schools that aren't going to be subject to those kind of seniority-based layoffs. It's something that, God bless you, that we're in, you know, constant communication with the unions over. They're now suing us over it, but it was definitely the right thing to do, and that's, I think, one of the futures of where we're going to have to go. The idea of using student achievement, student test scores to evaluate a teacher or a principal, also something that we're pushing forward on, trying to do it really thoughtfully, so it doesn't become punitive and it really reflects exactly what went on in the classroom. Again, not something that the union's been incredibly supportive of, but a reform that we wanted to focus on. So with that, I'm going to be quiet, and I would rather talk about whatever you want to talk about going on at LAUSD. So, Jack?